Across the United States, a quiet but powerful crackdown is unfolding on grocery store shelves. It's not just a matter of missing products or temporary shortages, this is a sweeping change that's affecting entire communities. In supermarkets from New York to Miami, the familiar sight of vibrant, Jamaican food products is vanishing, leaving empty spaces where beloved flavors once stood, but the impact goes far beyond the aisles of the store. In kitchens across America, Jamaican-American families are feeling the loss in deeply personal ways. For many, these foods are more than just ingredients. They are a connection to home, to family, and to a rich cultural heritage passed down through generations. The act of cooking together, sharing a meal, and celebrating traditions is now under threat, as key staples become harder and harder to find. The reason? A new FDA import alert and a sweeping agricultural protection rule have targeted over 20 staple Jamaican foods. These regulations, intended to protect American consumers, have had the unintended consequence of removing cherished items like ackee, callaloo, and Jamaican patties from the U.S. market. For small business owners and importers, the new rules mean stricter inspections, higher costs, and, in many cases, the inability to bring these products into the country at all. As a result, the international foods aisles in many American supermarkets are now eerily empty, with out-of-stock signs replacing the vibrant packaging of Jamaican favorites. By the year 2026, experts predict that these foods will be virtually impossible to find in the United States, cutting off a vital link for the Jamaican diaspora and food lovers alike. This is more than just a supply issue. It's a direct hit on cultural heritage. The disappearance of these foods threatens to erode the traditions, memories, and sense of identity that Jamaican cuisine brings to so many. As families gather around the dinner table, the absence of these beloved dishes is a stark reminder of what's at stake: the preservation of culture, community, and the flavors that tell the story of a people. The foods that have long been the backbone of Jamaican cuisine are now vanishing from shelves, not just in Jamaica, but in Caribbean communities around the world. These are not just ingredients, they are the heart and soul of family gatherings, Sunday dinners, and cherished traditions passed down through generations. The new bans and restrictions are sending shockwaves through the diaspora, leaving many to wonder, what will be left of our food culture if these staples disappear? Here's the shocking list of what's being banned, and why these changes are so devastating for those who rely on these foods for comfort, connection, and cultural identity. First on the list is fresh callaloo leaves. Callaloo is more than just a leafy green. It's a symbol of resilience and resourcefulness, a staple in Jamaican breakfasts, and the star of countless home-cooked meals. For many, the day doesn't start without a steaming bowl of callaloo, sautéed with onions, tomatoes, and Scotch bonnet peppers, served alongside fried dumplings or boiled green bananas. But now, fresh callaloo is prohibited from import due to a newly enforced zero-tolerance limit for a specific insect, even though this pest is not found in commercial farms. This means that even the most carefully grown, inspected, and packaged callaloo is being turned away at the border. The impact is immediate and deeply felt. Caribbean grocers are scrambling to find alternatives, and families are left with wilted substitutes that simply don't compare. The ban not only disrupts daily meals, but also threatens the livelihoods of small farmers who depend on callaloo exports to support their families. For the diaspora, it's a painful reminder of how fragile cultural connections can be when policies fail to consider the realities of traditional agriculture. Second, authentic unpasteurized Jamaican ginger beer is now banned. This isn't just any beverage, it's a fizzy, spicy, and slightly sweet drink that's been brewed in Jamaican homes for centuries, especially during holidays and celebrations. The traditional method relies on natural fermentation, which gives the drink its signature kick and complex flavor. But new regulations require all low-acid canned beverages to undergo thermal processing, a method that destroys the live cultures and unique taste of real ginger beer. As a result, only pasteurized, mass-produced versions are allowed, stripping away the authenticity and the health benefits that come from the original recipe. For many, this is more than a loss of flavor, it's a loss of heritage. The ban also hits small producers hardest, as they lack the resources to invest in expensive processing equipment. The result is a market flooded with bland imitations, while the true taste of Jamaican ginger beer becomes a distant memory. This change not only affects what's on the table, but also erodes the sense of pride and tradition that comes from making and sharing homemade ginger beer with friends and family. Third, specific varieties of Scotch bonnet peppers are now barred from import. These fiery, aromatic peppers are the soul of Jamaican cooking, lending their unmistakable heat and fruity flavor to jerk chicken, pepper sauces, and countless other dishes. The ban is based on concerns that the seeds could pose a risk as a potential invasive species, despite the fact that most peppers are shipped for immediate consumption and not for planting. This restriction has far-reaching consequences. Not only does it limit the availability of authentic Scotch bonnet peppers, but it also forces chefs and home cooks to use inferior substitutes that lack the same depth and complexity. The unique flavor profile of Scotch bonnet is irreplaceable, and its absence is keenly felt in every bite. For Jamaican farmers, the ban means lost income and wasted crops, while for consumers, it's another blow to the authenticity of their favorite foods. The decision also raises questions about the balance between environmental protection and cultural preservation, as policies designed to prevent ecological harm end up erasing vital elements of culinary heritage. Fourth, fresh ackee and brine, the only safe way to import this iconic fruit, now faces a total ban. Ackee is the national fruit of Jamaica and the star of the beloved dish, ackee and saltfish. The fruit must be carefully harvested and processed to remove toxins, and for years, strict regulations have ensured that only safe, brined ackee could be imported. But now, a disputed sampling method for measuring hypoglycin A levels has led authorities to deem all batches non-compliant, regardless of actual safety. This blanket ban has left shelves empty and devastated both consumers and producers. For many Jamaicans abroad, the taste of ackee is a direct link to home, a flavor that evokes memories of family breakfasts and festive gatherings. The loss of access to safe imported ackee is more than an inconvenience, it's a severing of cultural ties. Small businesses that specialize in importing and distributing ackee are struggling to survive, and farmers in Jamaica are left with unsellable crops. The ban also highlights the challenges of balancing food safety with cultural preservation, as overly cautious policies can end up doing more harm than good. Fifth, bulk, raw pimento or allspice berries are now prohibited. Allspice is the secret ingredient in jerk seasoning, giving it that warm, complex flavor that defines Jamaican barbecue. Traditionally, cooks would buy whole pimento berries and grind them fresh, ensuring maximum aroma and potency. The new ban, justified by alleged phytosanitary concerns, means that only pre-ground, processed allspice is available, often with diminished flavor and questionable freshness. This change undermines the authenticity of jerk and other classic dishes, as the subtle nuances of freshly ground pimento are lost. For spice traders and small-scale importers, the ban is a major blow, cutting off a vital source of income and threatening the survival of traditional spice markets. The decision also reflects a broader trend of prioritizing industrial food safety standards over the needs and practices of small producers and consumers. For those who cherish the art of cooking from scratch, the loss of access to whole pimento berries is yet another erosion of culinary heritage. Sixth, fresh yams, such as yellow yam and St. Vincent yam, are now banned from non-certified farms. Yams are a cornerstone of Jamaican cuisine, featured in everything from hearty stews to Sunday roasts. They are celebrated for their earthy flavor, dense texture, and nutritional value. However, new regulations require farms to obtain costly certifications in order to export yams, a process that is out of reach for most small Jamaican farmers. As a result, the supply of fresh yams has dwindled, prices have soared, and many families can no longer afford this essential ingredient. The ban not only threatens the livelihoods of farmers, but also undermines food security and cultural continuity. For the Jamaican diaspora, the absence of real yams from family meals is a painful reminder of the barriers that separate them from their roots. The policy also raises questions about equity and access, as large agribusinesses are able to comply with certification requirements, while smallholders are left behind. The loss of fresh yams is a blow to both tradition and opportunity, as generations of knowledge and skill are rendered obsolete by bureaucratic hurdles. Seventh, dried saltfish, or salt mackerel prepared the traditional way, is now blocked by new, stricter histamine testing protocols. Saltfish is a staple of Jamaican breakfasts and a key ingredient in the national dish, ackee and saltfish. The traditional method of salting and drying fish has been passed down for generations, producing a product with a unique texture and flavor. However, the new testing standards are so stringent that even the most carefully prepared saltfish cannot pass. This has led to widespread shortages and forced many to turn to inferior mass-produced alternatives. The ban not only disrupts daily meals, but also threatens the survival of artisanal producers who rely on traditional methods. For many, the loss of real saltfish is a loss of history, a break in the chain that connects past and present. The policy also highlights the tension between food safety and cultural preservation, as efforts to protect consumers can sometimes erase the very traditions they seek to safeguard. The disappearance of traditional saltfish is a stark reminder of how quickly cherished foods can vanish in the face of regulatory change. And finally, fresh guinep fruits are now banned outright due to the potential for seed propagation. Guinep, also known as Spanish lime, is a beloved summer treat in Jamaica and throughout the Caribbean. The fruit is enjoyed by children and adults alike, who savor its sweet, tangy flesh and spit out the large seeds. The ban is intended to prevent the accidental introduction of guinep trees into new environments, but it also cuts off a vital source of joy and nostalgia for Caribbean communities abroad. For many, the taste of guinep is a reminder of childhood, of lazy afternoons spent with friends and family, and of the simple pleasures that make life sweet. The loss of access to fresh guinep is yet another example of how well-intentioned policies can have unintended consequences, erasing the flavors and memories that define a culture. As these bans take effect, the future of Jamaican cuisine hangs in the balance, and the question remains, how much are we willing to lose in the name of safety and regulation? For now, the shelves grow emptier, and the ties that bind communities together grow weaker, one missing ingredient at a time. Ninth on our list is raw sugarcane stalks, a beloved treat in Jamaica and across the Caribbean. For generations, families have enjoyed the simple pleasure of chewing on fresh sugarcane, savoring its sweet juice and fibrous texture. It's a common sight at roadside stalls, bustling markets, and family gatherings, where children and adults alike share in this natural snack. However, under the new import regulations, raw sugarcane stalks are now strictly prohibited. The reason? Sugarcane can harbor foreign pests and diseases that threaten local agriculture in the United States. These pests, invisible to the naked eye, can devastate crops if introduced into new environments. The ban is a precautionary measure, but it means that the nostalgic experience of chewing on sugarcane, a ritual that connects many to their roots, is now out of reach for those living abroad. This restriction not only affects personal enjoyment, but also impacts small businesses that rely on importing sugarcane for cultural events and community gatherings. 10th, we have the Otaheite apple, also known as the Malay apple. This fruit is cherished for its crisp texture and subtly sweet flavor, often enjoyed fresh or used in fruit salads and desserts. In Jamaica, the Otaheite apple is more than just a fruit. It's a symbol of home, a taste that instantly transports people back to their childhoods. Unfortunately, the Otaheite apple is now banned from importation for reasons similar to those affecting sugarcane. The fruit can carry invasive species and plant diseases that pose a risk to American agriculture. These regulations are designed to protect local ecosystems, but they also mean that many in the diaspora will have to go without a fruit that holds deep cultural significance. The ban disrupts not only culinary traditions, but also the emotional connections that food fosters between people and their heritage. 11th on the list is sorrel, also known as roselle calyx. Sorrel is a staple of Jamaican Christmas celebrations, used to make a vibrant, tangy, and spiced holiday drink that brings families together year after year. The process of preparing sorrel, steeping the dried calyxes with ginger, cloves, and other spices, has become a cherished tradition, passed down through generations. However, sorrel is now blocked from import as an unapproved botanical food substance. The new rules classify it as a potential risk due to concerns about plant pathogens and the lack of official approval for its use in food products. This restriction is particularly painful during the holiday season, when the absence of sorrel means that many families cannot recreate the flavors and memories of home. The ban also affects small businesses and community groups that organize cultural events, making it harder to share this iconic drink with new generations. 12th, we turn to pre-packaged goat curry mix, a convenient blend of spices that captures the essence of one of Jamaica's most beloved dishes. Goat curry is a centerpiece at family gatherings, festivals, and special occasions, and the spice mix makes it easy for home cooks to recreate authentic flavors. However, the new regulations have banned certain goat curry mixes due to the inclusion of unapproved thickening agents. These additives, while common in Caribbean cooking, have not been cleared by the FDA for use in imported spice blends. As a result, many popular brands are now off-limits, forcing cooks to either make their own blends from scratch or go without. This change not only complicates meal preparation, but also threatens the continuity of culinary traditions, as younger generations may find it harder to access the flavors that define their heritage. 13th, Irish moss, a type of seaweed, is the key ingredient in a creamy, nutrient-rich drink that's popular throughout Jamaica. Irish moss is prized for its health benefits, believed to boost energy and vitality, and is often enjoyed as a refreshing beverage or used as a thickener in desserts. The drink is a staple at family gatherings and is especially popular among athletes and those seeking a natural energy boost. However, Irish moss is now banned from import due to new standards regarding seaweed toxins. The updated regulations are intended to protect consumers from potential contaminants, but they also mean that a cherished part of Jamaican cuisine is no longer accessible to those living abroad. The ban affects not only individuals, but also small businesses that produce and sell Irish moss drinks, disrupting livelihoods and cultural practices. 14th, we have bammy, a traditional cassava bread that has been a staple of Jamaican cuisine for centuries. Bammy is made from grated cassava that is pressed, soaked, and then fried or baked, resulting in a bread that is both hearty and versatile. It's often served with fish, especially at breakfast, and is a favorite at street food stalls and family tables alike. The new import rules, however, have barred bammy due to updated requirements for cassava flour irradiation. The concern is that untreated cassava flour can contain harmful compounds, and the new standards require irradiation to ensure safety. Unfortunately, many traditional producers do not have access to the necessary technology, making it impossible for them to meet the new requirements. This ban not only limits access to a beloved food, but also threatens the livelihoods of small-scale producers who rely on bammy sales. 15th, gizzata, also known as pinch me round, is a sweet coconut tart that holds a special place in Jamaican hearts. Made with a crisp pastry shell filled with spiced grated coconut, gizzata is a popular treat at bakeries, markets, and family gatherings. The process of making gizzata is often a communal activity, with families coming together to grate coconut, mix spices, and shape the delicate tarts. However, gizzata is now banned from import because it often contains grated coconut that has not been inspected by the FDA. The new regulations require that all coconut products be sourced from approved facilities to prevent contamination. This change has made it difficult for home bakers and small businesses to continue making and sharing gizzata, threatening the survival of a cherished tradition. The ban also means that many in the diaspora will miss out on a taste of home, especially during holidays and special occasions. 16th, we come to the iconic Jamaican spice bun, a sweet, spiced bread that is especially popular during Easter but enjoyed year-round. Spice bun is often paired with cheese or butter and is a staple at family breakfasts and celebrations. The rich aroma of cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice fills kitchens as families bake or slice into a fresh loaf. However, stamped and packaged spice bun mixes are now prohibited due to the use of certain coloring agents that are not approved for import. These additives, while common in Jamaica, do not meet the stricter standards set by U.S. authorities. The ban affects not only the availability of spice bun, but also the ability of families to continue traditions that have been passed down for generations. For many, the absence of spice bun at the table is a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by immigrant communities in preserving their culinary heritage. 17th, Ting grapefruit soda, a fizzy, tangy beverage that has become synonymous with Jamaican refreshment, is now facing restrictions. Certain brands of Ting are banned due to the presence of a specific preservative that is not permitted under U.S. food safety regulations. Ting is more than just a drink, it's a symbol of Jamaican identity, enjoyed at picnics, parties, and family gatherings. The ban means that fans of this iconic soda will have to seek out alternative brands or go without, disrupting a tradition that spans generations. The restriction also impacts small importers and specialty stores that cater to the Caribbean community, making it harder to find authentic products that connect people to their roots. 18th, Manish water mix packages are now prohibited due to the inclusion of offal derivatives that do not meet new USDA standards. Manish water, a spicy soup made from goat head and other parts, is a traditional dish served at celebrations and gatherings. The soup is believed to have restorative properties and is often enjoyed at weddings, parties, and other special occasions. The ban on Manish water mix affects not only the availability of this beloved dish, but also the ability of families to prepare it quickly and conveniently. The new regulations require that all animal-derived ingredients meet strict safety standards, which many traditional producers are unable to satisfy. This change threatens the continuity of a dish that is deeply woven into the fabric of Jamaican culture. 19th, Peanut punch, a rich and creamy beverage made from peanuts, milk and spices, is now banned if produced in non-pasteurization facilities. Peanut punch is a favorite among Jamaicans of all ages, enjoyed as a snack, dessert, or energy drink. The drink is often homemade, but many rely on bottled versions for convenience. The new regulations are intended to protect consumers from potential contamination, but they also mean that many small producers are unable to meet the requirements. As a result, the availability of peanut punch has been severely limited, depriving many of a beloved treat that is both nourishing and nostalgic. And finally, 20th on our list is blue drawers, also known as dukunu. This traditional Jamaican dessert is made from a mixture of cornmeal, coconut, and spices, wrapped in banana leaves and steamed to perfection. The process of making blue drawers is a labor of love, often involving the whole family in grating coconut, mixing ingredients, and carefully wrapping each parcel. The use of banana leaves imparts a unique flavor and aroma that cannot be replicated with substitutes. However, blue drawers is now blocked from import because the banana leaves used are not sourced from an approved supplier list. The new regulations are designed to prevent the introduction of plant diseases, but they also make it nearly impossible for traditional producers to continue their craft. This ban is particularly heartbreaking for those who see blue drawers as a link to their ancestors and a way to pass on cultural traditions to future generations. The cumulative effect of these bans is a profound loss for the Jamaican community abroad, as each restriction chips away at the ability to celebrate, remember, and share the flavors of home. This is more than a trade policy, it's a systematic erasure of taste and tradition, severing a tangible link to home for the diaspora. To stay informed on the policies targeting your heritage, you must subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and share this warning everywhere.